I'm joined now by Ronald Chapman, a federal defense attorney. Ronald, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this conversation about moving people from the J. Edgar Hoover building in downtown D.C. stretches back for more than a decade, spanning multiple administrations. Now there's a delay, at least 90 days. Kind of walk us through the process. Legally, where are we at, and where do we go from here?
Well, my understanding of the spending bill, which obviously has just been voted on by the Senate, is that there's about 90 days time for leaders from Virginia and Maryland to meet with the GSA administrator in order to determine where the site will be located. Now, the GSA has several factors that they're going to consider, including what's most convenient for federal spending and the FBI, but also related to equity and where this money gets spent and what community it gets spent in, which is of a particular concern for Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, currently right now there are 3 options on the table, 2 in Maryland, 1 in Virginia. In fact, today, Maryland Governor-elect Wes Moore said relocating the FBI's headquarters to Prince George's County is a personal priority. And he's saying this is about equity goals. Ultimately, what does this come down to?
Well, the GSA does have a factor to consider, and that was actually the big fight in the Senate with respect to the spending bill. How much equity comes into play? Obviously, the leaders from Virginia want to ensure that the current standard for evaluating federal property, the FBI's new location, is kept the same. But Maryland obviously wants to change it and add more factors related to equity, which would likely guarantee that it gets put in Maryland. My expectation here is that the GSA is going to consider both sides and then determine what the best deal is when they evaluate every single factor. I think there might be a slight nudge for Maryland. My understanding is the GSA administrator went to law school there and may have enjoyed some time there. So we'll see where it goes.
Okay. And when it comes to location, does it matter where, FBI personnel are located between the 2 states? Are there any benefits in any way?
Well, first and foremost, I think with the state of the Hoover building, I think they're very excited to have it moved regardless of where it is. But certainly moving it outside of D.C. does raise a particular concern. I mean, we know the CIA is certainly able to deal with that distance there, but the FBI has been traditionally located centrally, and moving it may cause issues with respect to their ability to operate within the larger federal government.
And so from your perspective as a federal defense attorney, these lawmakers are kind of fighting as if this was like a football stadium or something, because whatever jurisdiction gets this deal, there's obviously huge benefits. Can you talk about that?
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, and that's the unfortunate thing about this entire fight, right? Everybody's jockeying for a position for their home area, but nobody really seems to be weighing heavily what the FBI needs in order to continue its current operations. It'd be nice for it to stay exactly where it is, but the current building is not tenable, and my understanding is finding federal property in the same area is going to be difficult for that building. So it obviously needs a home away from its current area. But, the battle doesn't seem to be considering the needs of the FBI, which is slightly concerning in this situation.
Do you think we're going to have an answer in 90 days?
Well, I think that we will. I think that there will be an answer. We may not know what the answer is in 90 days, but let's hope this gets resolved quickly, because there needs to be some construction on a new building.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. Ronald Chapman, thank you so much for your expertise and for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.